And so welcome to this Nidra for grey midwinter in January. We start by tensing and releasing, so lift your right leg a little bit off the floor, hold the weight of the leg, tense and drop. And the left leg a little bit up, holding and tensing and drop. Lift the hips up and squeeze, release. Push the lower back down, squeezing the tummy muscles. Release. Lift both arms a little off the floor with fists, squeeze. Stretch the fingers wide and drop the arms. Lift the chest up and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Release. Roll up the shoulders to the ears. Push them down. Release. Squeeze the chin to the chest. Release. Squeeze the face to the tip of the nose. Release. Roll the head once or twice. And still feel free to make any adjustments so you can be comfortable for the next 40 minutes or so. And so with the breath, simply a gentle concentration. Maybe inhale on 4 and exhale on 4. And take note of all the parts of the body connected to the floor, so your heels, backs of the legs on the bolster, buttocks, parts of the back, backs of the hands and arms, back of the head. So your contact points with your exhale. Surrender the weight of the body through those points and allow the floor to support you. And under the floor, the good Devon earth. Surrender yourself. Have this feeling of contact with the earth. Mother Earth. Your body heavy like a sleeping baby in her arms. You are held. And for a moment now, let's take the awareness outside this room through space and listen into the outside, silent as it is tonight. and into this room, the sound of the silence in here. And closer still to the eardrum, where you may hear your breath, or even just the noise of your head. Notice the ebb and flow of the breath through the nostrils. And know that you are practicing Yoga Nidra. Have this awareness that you are practicing Yoga Nidra. That movement of the breath and the touch of the breath on the top lip and in the nostrils, the touch of the air. And on your next inhale, follow that breath through the nostrils and down through into the lungs. And as you do that, with each breath, take awareness of the heart space, which is found just where the lungs meet, where the rib cages meet, behind the breastbone. This is the location of the psychic center of the heart. And so as you breathe, though the breath is small, feel that the breath is moving in and out of the heart center. And sometimes the heart center is referred to as a cave, the cave of the heart. So you can feel that the breath is coming into this cave, this secret, intimate place. And some caves are warm, you know, a little bit fuzzy even. Place where an animal could hibernate. And so with the breath, come to know this place more deeply. Like maybe it feels dark and velvety in there. A warm and intimate place. Come to inhabit this place and use your breath as a way to explore the felt sensation of the heart. What does it feel like? What arises? try to stay with it should you be drifting off. Maybe you're feeling a clarity arise about something. And in the space of the heart now, I offer for you to acknowledge your conundrum or sankalpa. If you have a sankalpa, you can repeat it 3 times. If you have your conundrum, just lay it open without being specific and see what information comes. And if something has arisen, you can use your breath to amplify your knowledge of it. So very gently with the breath, you can take a tiny bit of focus and make it more vivid, more tangible. You can't try too hard or it'll just evaporate. So it's a subtle thing. And there are about 10 more breaths here to deepen or be open to something to arise. And slowly beginning to prepare to put this a little bit to bed. You can come back later. Tuck it away in a space where you can find it again. So on your next inhale, when you're ready, take the breath from the heart center, and as you inhale, you can visualize taking your awareness to the point between the eyebrows. And take a few breaths in and out of that point, if that makes sense, or simply gently focusing there. And from here, you're going to take your awareness on a journey around the body. And as each place is mentioned, you're going to place a dark moon there. You know, like a moon, a new moon. And so it's kind of black on black, but you can, you know it's there. And so a dark moon at the space between the eyebrows. And at the pit of the throat. And over to the right shoulder. Dark moons all the way. Right elbow, wrist, palm, tip of the thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, back up the arm to the palm, wrist, elbow, shoulder, pit of the throat, over to the left shoulder, moons all the way, inside of the elbow, wrist, palm, tip of the thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, palm of the hand, wrist, elbow, shoulder, pit of the throat, and the heart center. Over to the left chest, heart center. Right chest, heart center. The navel, in the pit of the pelvis. To the right hip, moons all the way, knee, ankle, sole, tip of the big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe, sole, ankle, knee, hip, to the pit of the pelvis, to the left hip, knee, ankle, sole, tip of the big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe, sole, ankle, knee, hip, pit of the pelvis, navel, heart center, pit of the throat, point between the eyebrows, top of the head, the whole body covered in dark moons. And see those moons. Maybe they kind of shimmer a little bit so you know they're there. The moon is there, you just can't see it. The whole body with the moons. And so I ask you to go into that velvety dark again, that sensation of being surrounded by soft darkness, a fertile darkness. I call it a new moon. The new starts in the dark. Feel that even though it's dark, there's kind of nothing. It's the beginning of something new. The dark. How prepared can you be to go into the dark? How prepared are you to go into the dark and explore that feeling of fertile warmth? And then I ask you to, just like a spring bulb, maybe you've seen them already, just their little, so strong tips coming out of the dark soil. So feel that irrepressible force of regeneration. How out of the dark and something seemingly dormant, strong, vital force is there. It's not fully showing, it's just beginning. So feel that tremor of beginning from the new. And now back to what the new moon represents, that darkness, dark fertility, or fertile dark, the potential. And then that magic moment of green shoots. That tipping over point from dormancy to growth. And seesaw a little bit between these two states, almost imperceptible change from one to the other. And having awareness that you're practicing Yoga Nidra. You are practicing Yoga Nidra. And so from this subtle space, I want you to imagine that we're out in the countryside. Find yourself in a field. We're going to go on a journey, visualization. And you're in a field, a Devon field, possibly a field you know even. And although it's a grey morning, it's woken up with frost, there's a fog, you feel completely comfortable. It's not like you've got loads of clothes on, or you're cold or you're hot. You're just completely easy, as if it were a summer's day. And so you're in the field, and you notice how everything is just on this cusp. It's dark, It's cold. And you can even see the sun in the fog. You can stare at that very precise disk of the sun, milky behind the fog. Midwinter sun. You feel no heat, but there is light. And so you start to walk across the field. The grass is still crunchy from the frost. As the sun comes a little bit higher in the sky, in a sort of in time lapse, you see that the field begins to defrost as the sun rises over the trees. Enough warmth to melt away the frost. You see the grass and the trees on the other side of the field, the hedgerow. And just as those plants are slowly ticking over and have begun to take in the energy from the sun today, just very slowly waking themselves up, so you feel yourself swell and open a little bit too. You feel at one with this energy in the field, with the vegetation. Just that hint of life underground with the microflora and fauna. All is waiting. You've moved from complete dormancy to the beginning, the very beginning of waiting for the new to come in, the new growth. And so as you set out across the field, you don't feel the weight of your human body, you're just somehow moving, feeling at one. And we're coming to the opposite side of the field where maybe there's a wood you know, and you go through the gate or over the stile, whatever it is, and you come into the woodland. And you're aware, underneath all the leaf litter of the dark soil, maybe stop to push the leaf litter aside and see how the leaves have rotted and made this lovely dark, fertile material. Taking awareness of the acorns under the soil, other seeds, ticking over, getting a hint of the slightly lengthening days. And maybe coming alongside an oak, you know, or imagine an oak. You know how these old trees, they have these little nooks and crevices and crannies where maybe a mouse likes to hide or an owl likes to sit. And so imagine yourself becoming quite small, shrinking to the size where you can sit in the oak tree. Feeling even closer to the dark earth and all the organisms, be they plant, animal, fungus. feeling more and more at one with this environment, with this part of creation. The shelter of the oak, the dark, fertile soil. The fertility that comes from the leaves falling, composting. And now walk away a little bit from your little crevice and the other way. Imagine yourself becoming back to your human size and then even bigger. You're becoming like a giant. You're next to the oak tree. You're becoming as tall as the oak tree. This oak tree is like your brother or sister. You feel a real kinship. You might also imagine that you could embrace the tree, maybe around its trunk, or maybe its branches could be like arms, and you put your arms. And so you're mingled with the branches. Maybe you can come really close and almost sense its, the way a tree grows. It has some kind of sinuous kind of movements to it, especially an oak and its branches. And here you are both at the beginning of the year and this newish moon, a dark time, but all to play for, all to come, just over the cusp of waiting for things to grow, but no hurry. Release yourself, let the oak release you, and come back to your size. And remember, you're completely comfortable even though it's chill air, cold ground. You're happy to lie on the ground. Through your clothes, there's the leaf mold, the good Devon earth, the life in the earth. And now you're here. Take a breath down into the cave of the heart, your own internal earth. Maybe take out the little treasure from before, if there was one. If there wasn't, that's also fine. Just be open to something that might arise now. Or if you've forgotten it, that's also fine. Some time here now to delve back in. A little bit of breath awareness maybe to deepen that knowledge that perception. And whatever it is, and you might not be sure what it is, know that in the days and even weeks to come, it may have some meaning and help for you. So once more, we're getting ready to leave this space, so tidy up and put it in a safe place within the cave. And when you're ready, begin to take note of the weight of the body on the mat in this yoga studio here at Viveka Gardens. Notice the points which touch the floor. The mass of the body being supported by the floor. The touch of the blanket, the air on the face, the movement of the breath in the nostrils and on the top lip. The sound of the silence in the room. The touch of the eyelids on the eyes. And as you begin to deepen the breath, the movement of the ribcage, and so you may begin to wiggle your toes a little bit. You might want to gently squeeze your hands. Maybe bring your knees to touch and apart a few times. Roll your arms and your head. And as this practice of Yoga Nidra comes to an end, know that it has been safe and held and nurturing, and it's a place you can come back to. And so you might now engage your conscious breath, belly breath, inhale 4, exhale 4. And as you prepare now to roll over and rest on your side, know that this practice of Yoga Nidra is over and complete. This practice of Yoga Nidra is complete. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.